Anyway, we're going to move on to the Epstein files data dump that just came out. The Department of Justice releases a trove of Epstein files. Let's take a look at what some of the high-level notes are. I've heard that there's a lot of redacted stuff in there.
I don't think we're prepared yet to show them to our audiences. We're working on that, but please do tell us what you've learned.
I don't even know if I can get to that website.
About describing what's
you have
in
to
the
click on I am not a robot. Your estimated wait time is less than a minute.
Sensitivities, so many sensitivities around this issue. But what I can say here is, in the data sets that are being put out by the Justice Department, there are many photos, and they are stripped of context. They are just images. Many of them do show Jeffrey Epstein, of course. They would be from the files around him. There are also images of Ghislaine Maxwell.
What the fuck?
But this is the sort of thing that people will be clicking on, seeing, that you'll see around as people go photo by photo. I mean, some of these, there's clearly hundreds of them. They're posted in dozens of pages of data on the Justice Department website, and they don't say where they're from, why they were taken, where the location of the photos are. So a lot of those context clues, that's the sort of reporting and questions that we'll need to follow up on in understanding
looking at the website.
What the meaning of these photos might be.
But after a thorough investigation, FBI investigators concluded that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City on the 10th of August 2019. This conclusion is consistent with previous findings, including the 2019
Stefanik leaving Congress and dropping out of the Hochul race? Dude, we'll get to that, okay? Are you kidding me? You think that's the biggest story right now? Chatter coming in here being like, at least Stefanik is dropping out. Okay, sick. Like, is she connected to Jeffrey Epstein? If not, forget about it, okay? I don't give a shit. We'll talk about it later. Yeah, she was going to get destroyed in the gubernatorial race regardless. Okay? Oh my God. You just sent me a Ghislaine cleavage photo. That is crazy. That is crazy with the feet and everything. I've seen a photo similar to this on the Epstein flight before.
Some of the content we're seeing from these documents, and I'm looking at video footage now of the common area just outside Jeffrey Epstein's cell. We've seen that before.
Yes.
And indeed, that video, there's a break in the video which has given rise to suspicion that Epstein may not have committed suicide. So conspiracy theory around that, or doubts about the suicide theory, certainly. This video I'm looking at, it shows a common area just outside Jeffrey Epstein's cell. We've seen that before. That has been made public, but that relates to Jeffrey Epstein. It relates to investigations into Jeffrey Epstein. Therefore, it's being released as part of these documents today. And that's what these documents relate to.
I found one that is an affidavit with Epstein and a 14-year-old. Yikes.
And pretty much every interaction that the law enforcement, the FBI and others, had with Epstein, and in terms of their investigations into his activities. That's why there are so many names in the frame, so many images of Epstein associates in his company, and so many connections made to a range of people. As I mentioned, not all by any stretch guilty of criminality. Indeed, they are due the presumption of innocence until proved otherwise. But it gives you a sense of the connections that Jeffrey Epstein had across high society. Many of the names who have featured in these files are from the rich and famous. It's not just Donald Trump. It wasn't just the former Prince Andrew.
Files, man.
Yesterday we saw pictures
the U.S. Department of Justice began to release all files related to the case against convicted sex offender trafficker Jeffrey Epstein.
The comedian, U.S. TV personalities, and so on. We're seeing from this publication today, Matt, many pictures.
Bill Clinton with a redacted person in the pool. Oh my God.
You'll remember that Jeffrey Epstein was an owner of many properties, not just the island in the...
Oh my Lord. That is... Are you going to cover the Epstein files? Okay, take a day off. No memes, no jokes. Only productive statements. Okay? Oh, dude. Maybe it's Hillary. Absolutely not. It's not Hillary. Are you kidding me? If it was Hillary Clinton, her face would not be redacted. It's more likely that it's Donald Trump. Let's be real. Can you explain what you are looking at on my screen? My eyes are bad. I'm watching on phone. We are currently looking at a photo from the Epstein files with Bill Clinton, former president of the United States of America, Bill Clinton, in what seems to be a jacuzzi, in a bathing suit, with his hands behind his head, leaning on the corner, with a censored photo of someone who is not affiliated or potentially a victim of Jeffrey Epstein's. A lot of these photos that have censors over the people that are most commonly women that are involved with some of the high-profile people are censored for the sake of protecting the unaffiliated people or the likely victims and preserving their identities. Oh, there are, oh my God, there are so many. Oh God, there's going to be so many photos with Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. This is the other side of this story. Okay. The other side of the story is as many photos exist as Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, there are a fuck ton of photos with Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton. Remember, the reason why a lot of the right initially leaned into the Jeffrey Epstein stuff was because they were like, oh yeah, this is a Clinton conspiracy, which is true. There is truth that Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein were absolutely heavily connected to one another. However, oh shit, Mick Jagger. However, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump were also connected to one another as well. Think about Epstein when Clinton was impeached, Lamau. Was there a time when Bill Clinton and Trump were friends? Yes. Yes. Of course. There are photos of them together in public. This shit is so bad it deserves an apolitical revolution. Like, even if we're just going to preserve liberal capitalism, this requires a replacement of our system. I mean, yeah. This is a child. Well, you don't, I mean, oh God, this is so strange. Don't you think this is from inside the temple? Is this a photo from inside the temple? Seems good. Ain't no way these are the files that they released. It's just 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Is it just not loading or is it just redacted? Is it just not loading? I don't understand. What am I Ain't no way they were like, here are the Epstein files, 55 pages of redaction, full-blown redaction. Wow. Thank you. What an incredible release here. More photos. Yours isn't loading for some reason. I can see no, this is a different. They're Polaroids. Give them a minute. Look at this, mate. F to 0003169.pdf. Dude, just link it to me if you want me to see it. There are, this is the photo sets, right? That they recovered. Hundreds of pages are 100% redacted. Obviously, some of the redactions are made because they are, they have victims, the faces of victims, And that's the reason why they don't show that stuff, right? But then there's also going to be redactions because there are probably high profile people that they don't want to involve in this, and maybe even Donald Trump. Like, there's information, not just photos, but like information that they're redacting. And I think not all of these. Wait, what? Photo from Epstein's home in New York City has Bill, MBS, and Trump? Oh, yeah, we've seen that. I mean, I've seen these photos before, but this is a clearer picture. Creepy photos from what the Epstein's bedroom in New York City. Jesus Christ, this guy had so many strange artifacts in his house. Photos of him and Trump. Photos with Bubba. Photos with MBS, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. The Pope. There's a short plane video. Who's the guy on the right? Oh my God, that's Steve Pinker. Wait, is this AI or is this real? That's Steven Pinker. He's a famous Harvard professor. I mean, there is a photo of them together, for the record. Yeah, Pinker is a known associate of Jeffrey Epstein, for the record. It's not even like a new thing. But I don't think there is I don't think we've ever seen a video from the video of them together. CSAM not scanned. Wait, what? Okay, this means that there are different levels of redaction. So the black bars that we see are just like to hide people's identities and stuff. But then there's one extra level of redaction, which is when it's directly child sexual abuse material, where they don't even upload it, they don't even scan it, and they just have the data, like they just have the hard evidence, and they don't even copy it, which makes sense. Like that means they have footage, but it's just they will not copy it for understandable reasons. I don't know if live photos on iOS were a thing before Epstein died. We'll have to check, but the short videos may be those. Live photos consist of one photo and one short video before or after the shot. They have hash values which they give to law enforcement. Photos provided by interview of redacted. This is what, like evidence filing, right? This is evidence filing. Photos provided by redacted. Might be LNU, may have moved to Florida. LNU used to be roommate, moved back to Brazil, still in New York. Younger than. Friends of Bleep Friends, big Brazilian group, Dominican darker skin, looks Amazonian, brought towards end, desperate time, maybe 1 to 2 years older, not sure, desperate time, running out of girls. Friends with Bleep's boyfriend's friends. Didn't want Spanish or dark girl. Go in, wait in room. Wait in. Roommate doesn't know if took her. Says, I don't know what happened. Jeffrey Epstein, what doing? Why bringing me dark girl? Bringing young girl. Yeah, but not dark. Told her he just wasn't into her. Doesn't remember if he paid Bleep because he wasn't happy. Jeffrey Epstein paid her. Bathroom. One torso pink, vaginas and boobs near bathtub. He got in shower and told her, can't just bring girls he doesn't like. Told her, keep looking for girls. At one point, redacted witnessed them asking for ID to girl. Wanted make sure under 18 because he wasn't believing them, because redacted messed up by bringing more older girls. Holy. So he was mad that the girls were potentially over the age of 18. Saying he wanted to make sure that the girls were under the age of 18. What the is going on here? Roommate, when still living with mom, they rented out rooms, just came from Brazil. Was model older than. What is happening? It's not a doors open situation. Why is the name of the person gathering underage girls redacted? I don't know. I actually don't understand that. I don't know why they're redacting the like, I don't know if it's because it's like, I don't know if it's because the information, 119-page grand jury document entirely redacted according to MS Now. The reason why might be because they got immunity from the previous deal. Because, like, remember, the first time Jeffrey Epstein was caught sex trafficking minors across state lines, there was a second deal that was conducted. Not only did he get a sweetheart plea deal, unlike anything anyone has ever gotten, and the person who offered him that was Alexander Acosta, who then became Donald Trump's labor secretary, who actually resigned as Donald Trump's labor secretary because the second investigation into Jeffrey Epstein was being conducted, and people were like, dude, what the f***? You're responsible for giving Jeffrey Epstein this incredible sweetheart plea deal. And part of that process was that they actually were able to, they actually gave full immunity to every other known affiliate. This could be the reason, or it could be that some of the co-conspirators were also underage as well, or some of the co-conspirators were victims as well, because it is known that Jeffrey Epstein would routinely use some of his own victims to then go out and get new victims as well. So that's part of the reason why it could be redacted. But I don't think these people are victims. I think that this is a co-conspirator that got some kind of immunity. And that's the reason why their identity their identity might be redacted here. But this is so crazy that the evidence notes here very clearly show a profile, Jeffrey Epstein straight up demanding underage girls and even applying scrutiny to the person that was helping him traffic underage girls, saying, I need to see some identification because last time you f***ed up and you gave me overage girls. And not only was it underage girls, but he wanted underage white girls. Racist pedophilia. Thomas Massey says, if 20 to 25 men are not named as sex offenders today in the release, this is a cover-up. We're working with victims to ensure the offenders don't omit evidence under the pretense of redacts due to this. Oh, shit. Holy shit, dude. No, look at the top left of that dog. It says initials live with mom at 13, moved out at 14, and the redaction is the same size as the redacted initials of the person gathering the girls. This totally looks like another victim forced to bring him more girls. Yeah, that could be the case. But that doesn't mean bleep living with mom at 13, moved out at 14. You do understand that that could be one of the victims that they're bleeping out. Yeah, see, in this page, this redaction is a victim. Okay. This might not be, or this could be. I don't know. There are also so many victims that this kind of redaction is going to make it like I suspect that what they're doing in the situation is basically because there are so many victims and so much evidence for pedophilia and numerous other illicit dealings, that they went through all the documents and redacted certain people's names, clients, high profile people that were directly involved in the illegal acts, or at least were named by some of the victims and witnesses as being involved in this. And they're using the larger they're using the valid redactions to also hide people who are affiliates as well. I can't have Brace on. I already asked him, and Brace said he's filming an episode and then immediately leaving, so he's not going to be around, unfortunately, today. This is insane, man. Do you think the victims even want these redactions? I mean, I think the victims want their identities preserved, yes, but they don't want the affiliates to be able to shelter their names, and that's what Thomas Massey is presenting as well. There's a crazy painting of Bubba. No, this is a famous one. We've seen this before. Yeah, it's Bill Clinton in a blue dress. Yeah, this was known from before. It's just another angle of the same painting that we've seen before. Yeah, this is a famous one. It gets worse. What? No, hold on. Living the Good Life, Part 5, massage for everybody. And it's a baby massage training. Baby massage moves. One thing about babies, they're really, really small. You can tell how small when you try to massage them and one of your hands covers their entire back. Besides, there was a manual for massaging babies. I mean, that's also least surprising. IDF sweatshirt. This one has a lot of Clinton. Yeah, I think it was in the files. It was a massaging for dummies book or something that they found in the files. Whole last scrapbook with Epstein and redacted victims. Somebody made some kind of zine comic with the photos of Jeffrey Epstein and all kind of redacted girls. Yo, these were scrapbooking, brother. Oh my God. That's the other boomer angle, is that they loved scrapbooking. This is a thing that's part of the reason why they were like constantly what do you call it? Constantly taking photos or whatnot. But this is an entire scrapbook that they made. Once upon a time, there was a clueless little girl. How do I look? Then, what is he doing? He wouldn't. Elastic. Can I even show this? This is this is a pedophile mood board. Those eyes are blue. And the little teeth. I met you. How do I look? I played the cards I was dealt. First Christmas. Oh my goodness. I will be the first. Is my cover blown? What could this be? I learned and grew. I beautified. Took care of you. Before and after. Brazil, Dubai, Prague, Czech milk. We traveled. Berlin, St. Bart's. You're the best. Oh, really? You're so sweet to me. I like Prague. I know. I am working on number 3. Paris. We fought. Then hugged. We laughed. One ham. Bleep, please, no mustard. I will get you. Now you drive. 2007, September 17th. And then it's just it's a photo of him and one of the victims. Looks fake as brother, this is literally from the government files. What are you talking about? This looks fake as really? This is the zine was a birthday card. Yeah. This looks like Prince Andrew's. Item was not scanned. Let's look at this one. Description photo frame. Oh, it is. It is Prince Andrew with a bunch of victims. This I think that's the one of the pilots, right? Here's Ghislaine Maxwell in Russia. This is a redacted photo. Epstein on a horse with a victim. I don't even know what the f is going on here with some fancy people. This is oh my God, Jeffrey Epstein with Michael Jackson. Wait, what is this special day in England? Who is this person? I wonder. Michael Jackson, redacted. I don't know who this guy is. Redacted, not redacted. On a hammock. Tucker Carlson? No, he's not Tucker Carlson. Winnie the Pooh. Jeffrey Epstein, another one of these guys. I don't know. Redacted. And then that's it. Bro, the full page redactions on photos are very suspicious. The full page redactions on photos imply that, like, I don't think that there are full page redactions on these photos because like there's victims all over these photos. I feel like that is the type of redaction that they do when they feel like there is no, when they feel like there's like a too high profile of a person, or maybe it's like a location or something. Yeah, identifiable location, something like that. MJ with Clinton on Lolita. Yeah. Yeah, Michael Jackson. With Bill Clinton on the Lolita Express. Full page redaction might be a cover up. They have a different CSAM, not scam page for the CSAM, right? Yes. If it's a full page redaction, see, look, this is what it looks like in the files that are uploaded. If it's actually CSAM, okay? There's a different way of handling child sexual abuse material where they understandably don't scan child sexual abuse material. If they redact a face, that's most likely a non-affiliated, oftentimes a victim that is not affiliated or not implicated in any crime. Okay? If it's a full page redaction, though, like if it's fully black, then that's a little bit suspicious. Because if it's a full-blown full page redaction, I feel like there is a different reason as to why they're engaging in that. And I don't know what it is, but it definitely is very suspicious, very weird. I will, however, say, even with all the redactions so far, there is a shit ton of data here. There is a shit ton of new evidence here, new connections here, things that we previously did not know about that many of these people did know about, okay? Like a lot of people in positions of power did know about this shit. And remember, including Donald Trump, for example, Donald Trump's DOJ, all of the people that told us that there was nothing there, nothing that you didn't know about previously. And that is strange. Okay. What is this? Go to 1201. Go to 1201. Wait, what is this? This is not 12 hours long. What are you talking about? 1201:30. No one went into a cell after 10:30 p.m. This is not his cell, chatter, for the record. Many of the photo folders are named Clinton Place. Some others are redacted place, so they are likely redacting the names of people. Yeah. There is someone conspicuously absent from all these photos so far. Yeah. Where the fuck is Donald Trump? 10:25, 10:28, 10:30 p.m., 10:29. I feel like fully redacted photos are the ones that Trump or the location of Mar-a-Lago or White House or some Israeli official. Oh, 12:31. Go to 12:01 on the clock. 12:01, not 31. Why are you guys doing this? Okay, here. 12. No one's at 31. Maybe I saw 31. I was wrong. I have to pee so bad, dude. Wait, hold on. You know what? I'm gonna go to CNN for now, and then I'm gonna pee, and I'll be back, and then we'll look at the 12.
To go through the documents they've had for years from the Epstein files and the FBI investigation. There's also incoming to the Justice Department from other parts of the government that they're going to be going through, and that we may not even be seeing for several days. Casey?
All right, Caitlin, thank you very much for that update. Joining us now to discuss further, victims' rights attorney Gloria Allred. She's represented several Epstein abuse survivors. And Gloria, I know that you're digesting what we're learning from the Justice Department right along with everyone else, but I'm hoping you can give us a sense of what a moment like this means to the women who were victimized by Jeffrey Epstein and others in Epstein's orbit.
Well, I'm glad that you asked, Casey, because this didn't just happen. It is happening because of the courage of many survivors speaking out and pushing elected officials to this point. Elected officials in Congress and also the president. And that is a tribute to them, and they deserve that commendation because it took a lot for many of them to speak out and let people know what had happened to them. And they did it in order to achieve the release of the DOJ's Epstein files, which they only got partial release of today. Of course, the Deputy Attorney General, Mr. Blanche, has also indicated that part of his reasoning for not giving everything that the law requires today is that he wants to be sure that the victims' identities are protected and also their names. And in addition, any...
Bro, I'm sorry, but Gloria Allred is not exactly a credible person. Okay, so here, let's get back to this. At the 12:01, you said there's like someone that walks in. Except the Jeffrey Epstein, cell is actually on the opposite side of this. So this camera angle does not even show Jeffrey Epstein's cell, just so you guys know. So when people say, all right, 12:01, what happened? 12:06, not 12:01? You missed it? It happens at 12:01:30? On the top left corner, you missed it? Oh, you're talking about near the stairs at 12:01? Oh, this. Wait, what the? This isn't even his room. Yeah. Yeah, this is not his cell, chatters. I know I don't think you guys understand. That's not his cell. There's no camera footage showing directly outside of his cell. That was a big problem because the cameras suspiciously were busted. But even in this situation, even in this footage, there's like cut parts as well, which people thought was also strange. This is edited footage. But what if that was his cell? Hypothetically, that'd be suspicious. Okay. We're getting stupid. We're getting stupid right now. All right. Anyway, one of the only things that someone could find, I think, is like so far. What is this? It with Donald Trump's? Is that Donald Trump's signature? Oh yeah, that is Donald Trump's signature. On a check, and that's it. Very few new information that's come out of this that I clipped it. Rick Astley. Dude, you're funny, dude. Take a week off, okay? Take a week off. Bye-bye. What? Oh, come on, dude. That's a really good bit, though, chatter. Keep up the good work. What is this? CCP? Okay, calm down. Who are these? I don't know. I don't know who some of these people are. I mean, dude, he was homies with every wealthy person. Oh yeah, and then Donald Trump is in the Epstein files for some of these photos that Jeffrey Epstein kept of him in his drawer, in his desk drawer. They're dead. Walter Cronkite, Richard Branson. We've seen Richard Branson with him before. This is a new photo of him and Richard Branson, for the record. There's photos of him there's photos of a gun range, but that's not that unique. The picture in the drawer is a new unredacted photo of Donald Trump, but this one is famous. The other one with like Ghislaine and Melania Trump, that one is, all these photos and evidence, and Epstein is never working his big finance job. Yeah, I'm just surprised. I thought he was like such a prolific trader, and yet it doesn't feel like he has any time to trade because he's seemingly taking photos with underage and women over the age of 18 that he allegedly sex trafficked. Well, not even allegedly, confirmed to have sex trafficked. So it's very strange to me how he was making all of his, how he found any time through his incredibly busy social schedule, taking photos with virtually every famous person on the planet, including the financial elite, including heads of government, foreign emissaries and things like that. Very busy social calendar for this guy. Another one of Clinton. I mean, the craziest one of Clinton is in the hot tub, dude. Will we ever truly know how he connected with women for sex and who he connected with women for sex and who he connected for children for pedophilia? No, I don't think so. I think at best, the best you're going to get is maybe some of the alive victims who who know who some of the clients were. But even then, it's what the former President Bill Clinton swims with unknown woman and Ghislaine Maxwell, convicted sex offender and close associate of Jeffrey Epstein. Jesus Christ. This stuff is new. This stuff is definitely new. Yeah, I saw this with Prince Andrew. Ivana and Ivanka mentioned, was on the contact list. Yeah, I mean, this is stuff from his black book. We already know. Every famous person is on here, dude. Every famous person is on here. There's like the Blizzard guy who stole titty milk is on the Epstein black book, famously. Here's Bill Clinton again on Lolita Express. Dude, this, oh my God. I feel like nothing will happen with this release because they would redact Trump, but only if there's a leak with evidence involving Trump will we actually see repercussions. Grums is on the blacklist? No, it's not Grums. Is Hillary going to talk about how social media is warping the minds of the youth instead of addressing why her husband is with every junior high schooler in Florida? Yeah, no, that's before TikTok, so that's different. Tons of call logs, names redacted, but shows Poland a lot. This is a subpoena from T-Mobile for his T-Mobile phone number and like where he was calling. A lot of incoming calls here. A lot of phone numbers that were redacted. Mostly call destination, Miami, Florida, incoming. There's one North Dakota in here. North Dakota, or no, not North Dakota. North Dade, Florida. Never mind. North Dade, Florida mentioned. Why do we never see photos of people at the island? There are plenty of photos of people at the island. All I'm going to say is that boomers are so dense. They really complain about Gen Z documenting everything online. Meanwhile, they're just recording themselves committing crime thinking no one's going to know. I mean, true. So I guess it's the same, and there is no generational divide there. Everyone is constantly recording themselves doing crimes all the time, whether it's on Snapchat or whether it's in a scrapbook that you made for your favorite pedophile, your favorite close personal pedophile besties. Doesn't change that dynamic all that much, does it? Where it's just still a thing that boomers are doing, you know? Like these guys would be streaming this shit on Kick. That is like the modern meta, you know?
Epstein files. We are combing through all of these details, and we are going to try to bring it to you as coherently as possible as it
Richard
comes
Branson,
in the meantime,
billionaire.
Our panel is here, and of course, Elliot Williams. One of the things that people are really interested in is the list, or a list, any list of names of powerful men
Hassan, you need to see
who
this.
were involved here. Right? This is a list that the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, had said when the Trump administration came into office the second time. She said, it's sitting on my desk. Right? Then, of course, we have not seen it. Susie Wiles, the White House Chief of Staff, said this week that
yes, dude, Timothy Chalamet's SD kid
on this matter entirely.
Okay.
But I want to play what Congressman Thomas Massie...
I would say that's like that's not even the 10th most important conspiracy theory right now that we're talking about today. Come on now.
What he said about what might be in them. Let's watch.
I wanted to talk about some of the things to look for and what we may be anticipating. The victims' lawyers have been in contact with me.
Oh, there's a crazy
and collectively,
story about
they
this.
know there are at least 20 names of men who are accused of sex crimes in the possession of the FBI. So if we get a large production on December 19th, and it does not contain a single name of any male who's accused of a sex crime or sex trafficking or rape or any of these things, then we know they haven't produced all the documents. It's that simple.
That was a huge line, dude.
Yeah.
Thomas Massie straight up said if they're using the victims' names to provide shelter for 20 to 25 different men, or if 20 to 25 different men after today are not known publicly as being involved in like illicit sexual acts, that means that they used the redaction. They overextended the redactions and basically extended it to some of the criminals as well. Okay. And that is the suspicion that they engaged in. The suspicion that they did was there's some of the redactions are obviously victims. Many of them are obviously victims, but they obviously clearly hid. They clearly hid the other other people that were engaged in illicit acts as well, making it seem like they're also redacting victims' names.
We find out about those 3 buckets, and I think that if people go in expecting that and not some smoking gun list, I think the world will be far more satisfied with whatever the Justice Department provides.
Yeah, although, Ellie Honig, you've been hanging with us throughout the hour, which I very much appreciate. I mean, the reality is everybody's looking for a list. You've seen so much of this kind of material in your career as a prosecutor. Do you think there's a list?
No, I mean, all the reporting is there's not in one discrete place, like a list, number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. To the bigger point about other people who may be involved here, let's remember the exceptions. This law does allow the Justice Department to hold back any information that might relate to an ongoing investigation or that might undermine our national security or foreign diplomacy. There's a lot of discretion, a lot of wiggle room there for Pam Bondi to hold things back in her discretion. That's point 1. Point 2, to Representative Massey's point earlier, that if we don't see sort of high-profile names, then we'll know they have not turned over everything. Guess what? We know they have not turned over everything because Todd Blanche has said so. He said, I know we were supposed to under the law. This is just some of them, and there's a lot more still to come.
Ellie, on that point, I mean, why do you think Todd Blanche is doing this? I mean, the fact that it represents a delay from what the law says.
I don't know. I couldn't begin to make excuses for him. They gave the DOJ 30 days to pull this together. Yes, it was a gargantuan task. We've had reporting here at CNN about how there was a mad scramble behind the scenes at DOJ. But if the end result of that is, sorry, Congress, sorry, Mr. President, who signed the law, we just couldn't get there in time, that's just unacceptable. That's just outrageous. So, look, I suppose this will give rise to theories that maybe they're trying to drag this out. If the documents are going to slowly leak out over the next 2 weeks, we all know what's happening the next 2. It's Christmas, it's New Year's, people are going to be halfway paying attention. But it's a huge error. It's a flub by DOJ to not have these already. Now, maybe worse than that even. They did not comply with the plain language of a law passed by Congress, signed by the president.
And in the absence of a penalty for failing to comply with that law, Ellie, I mean, what does that part of this mean?
Yeah, there's not a heck of a lot that can be done. You've had earlier members of Congress suggesting they may sue, maybe, but that'll take time, and perhaps in that time this will get worked out. As you noted earlier in one of your interviews, Casey, there's not a mechanism built into this law that says if DOJ fails to comply, the punishment will be A, B, or C. It just sort of leaves it out there unaddressed. So ultimately, it's going to have to come down to political pressure and political will from Congress.
It has been a remarkable thing to see, actually, the way that Republicans in this particular case have actually exerted political will over the wishes and will of the president of the United States to get us this far. But I think it's good you underscored that today. Ellie Honig, thank you. Thanks very much to my panel as well. Really appreciate it. Thanks to you all at home.
Yeah, this is a big data dump on Clinton. And nothing even technically super illicit about Clinton so far. But that's it. Like, the most high profile, new shit that we found out is just Bill Clinton. And that to me is somewhat suspicious. And I don't even mean that there was going to be more Trump stuff, even though Trump basically made it seem like there was more Trump stuff in there. And that's the reason why he was trying to delay the release or just refuse to release it altogether. But there are obviously very clearly other people that are either close to Trump or just like bipartisan elites, you know, that the administration is protecting, the DOJ is currently protecting.
Here is Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche this morning saying that all of the files are not going to be released today.
I expect that we're going to release more documents over the next couple of weeks. So today, several 100,000. And then over the next couple of weeks, I expect several 100,000 more. There's a lot of eyes looking at these, and we want to make sure that when we do produce the materials we're producing, that we're protecting every single victim.
Okay, let's check in with the actual law that has required this release of the documents. It's called the Epstein Files Transparency Act. It passed 30 days ago with the support of every member of Congress except for one, Republican Congressman Clay Higgins. The law requires of the Justice Department and FBI, quote, not later than 30 days after the date of the enactment of this act, the Attorney General shall, subject to subsection B, make publicly available in a searchable and downloadable format all unclassified records, documents, communications, and investigative materials, unquote, that pertain to Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and other people or entities named in connection to them and the sex trafficking ring that they are alleged to have run. Now, you will notice in that law, it didn't say today was the deadline to release some of the records.
Yeah, it's supposed to be all
of the records, and it said with a searchable form. And if you go onto the website right now and just even put the word Epstein in to search the Epstein documents, that doesn't come up because it's not searchable yet. Let's discuss this all with CNN's Evan Perez and MJ Lee. MJ, what are we learning about the content of the files that have been released so far?
Yeah, Jake, you know, we knew that today was going to be a really big document dump coming from the DOJ. But even having known that, you know, when you take even a few minutes to go through these documents, it really is a pretty sickening experience. You know, so much context is
missing.
There's
just so much CSAM and so much like open demands for procuring children to engage with, to do statutory rape with. It's psychotic.
To the various investigations that have taken place over the years about Jeffrey Epstein,
and also a fuck ton of high-profile people directly associated with him. Epstein kept an insane amount of information, even as a big cache of 3.5 floppies in his penthouse. Yep.
Such a reminder of how many people had accused him of abuse. And
like, dude, the fact that these people still, the fact that like the Ezra Klein narrative was like, oh, he was a prolific pedophile, but also was very, you know, kept very famous company, but those two things were separate from one another is so insane to me. Like, it just doesn't, I don't know how you could have ever arrived at such a conclusion. Okay. It's just, like, this dude was doing so much pedophilia that, like, it was very clearly taking up a big chunk of his life, you know? It's virtually impossible for there to be no crossover in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. My other main takeaway is that Epstein Maxwell were taking photos like an eager freshman who just started college. They were photographing everything and everyone they met. Yeah, I think there was a reason for that. Epstein kept an insane amount of information, even as a big cache of 3.5 floppies in his penthouse. There was also obviously a lot of tapes, specifically tapes with names of people that were redacted, and some of the tapes that were mysteriously lost in the wind. So this is not even the tip of the iceberg, really. Okay. So remember, there's also, I mean, there are so many different points of confusion here. This one specifically is about, I think, someone blowing the whistle on the plea bargain. I can't really read it, though. It's difficult to read. Floppies are floppy disks, like before CDs, before CD-ROMs, there were floppy disks. Yeah, floppy disks are very, very tiny, like a child. That's a child's foot, yes, for sure. What the I mean, I think that's a baby that's being held by I assume an adult with a shirtless Jeffrey Epstein, who apparently had a tribal bicep tattoo. Rokana says Pam Bondi will be prosecuted if she doesn't release the full Epstein files by today's deadline. Let me be very clear. We need a full release.
9 p.m. on Friday, the Epstein files will finally be released because of my Epstein Transparency Act. We will see thousands of documents that we should have seen decades ago. 3 federal judges have ordered the release.
One of the craziest aspects of this, by the way, is the fact that like these people were sheltered and they were able to just like operate in polite society and potentially in positions of prominence long after law enforcement authorities, investigators knew the depths of their illicit activity. So that's what's so crazy about it too. It's like justice delayed is justice denied. This is an endless delaying of justice in this situation. And the Department of Justice is telling Congress that the release is incomplete. The DOJ acknowledges to Congress that Epstein files release is incomplete, expects additional disclosures by end of year. Yeah, they are. I think there were far too many documents. I'm not even kidding. I think there were far too many documents where they had to basically take an L on drip feeding shit because they refuse. They refuse to release it without like redacting everything. And I suspect that's the reason why. That's the reason why they're saying like, sorry, we can't release it yet. Even though there was so much time, even though there was a 30-day period, and I guess the 30-day period was not enough. Is your neck okay? No, it's not. Is it a less than 110% chance that they just redact all mentions of Trump? And if no is more than 0% chance, normies think he's sus that is not mentioned at all. I think for normies, they will say, what is this? During one of DOE's encounters with Epstein, he took her to Mar-a-Lago where he introduced her to his owner, Donald J. Trump. Introducing the 14-year-old Doe to Donald J. Trump, Epstein elbowed Trump, playfully asking him, referring to Doe, this is a good one, right? Trump smiled and nodded in agreement. They both chuckled, and Doe felt uncomfortable, but at the time was too young to understand why. This is from one of the court documents, I assume. They just released a bunch of Epstein files, and I scrolled through flight log documents for 5 minutes and found Donald Trump 5 different times. Yeah, Donald Trump was on the flight logs. We know that. Oh, this letter is admitting basically why Epstein was protected, potentially. What is this? Let's see. Dear Mr. Jeffrey Epstein, I hate that you got into this mess with the girls over the years. These girls knew what they were doing. You didn't put a... What is this? To their hand, but you have to water it? You didn't put a gun to their hand, but you have to water it to all rich people are targets in this world. People are going to come at you to get $1. Women are really sticking, I assume, really sticking it to the men on every level. It seems a lot is justify in some cases. In your case, you really need to water or watch, not water, watch yourself. You are a target and you never should got yourself caught up in this bullshit in the first place. You knew these girls would come at you in the long run and mess up your reputation. You should have knew that and go after your pockets. L. Reader, Haas dyslexia. Chatter, not only is this person dyslexic, but this cursive is ass. I mean, this is a random person who sent a letter to a random misogyny tourist, I think, that sent a letter to Jeffrey Epstein from prison. Okay, I don't think this is like. I don't think this is. This has anything to do with any. Hasanabi can't read. Yeah, this is a. Remember when I told you guys like there's a concept such as misogyny tourists, like people who just look to instances of men doing sexual impropriety or illicit acts and whatever, and then they just like they lend unlimited support to those men for some weird reason. This is one of those men, I think. Like people who became Tory Lanez fans after Tory Lanez's there were criminal charges against them. There are redacted pictures of Ivanka Trump in the files. Does this imply she was a victim? So there is an interesting thing with Ivanka Trump. There is suspicion, or not Ivanka Trump, sorry, with Melania. There is suspicion that Melania was modeling with Like there's suspicion that like Melania met Donald Trump through Jeffrey Epstein by way of a Jeffrey Epstein affiliate. He spoke to the doctor about your symptoms. It is Bratislavian various. It can be cured, but you have to move. It can cost empathy of the muscle, which can shorten your sex life. What? I think they meant impotency, or no, atrophy, but they wrote empathy. Atrophy, you suck at autocomplete?
Bitch, what are you talking about? I'm trying to read the words that they wrote. Are you kidding me? This is IMPOTHY. Y'all are making it my fault that none of these super wealthy dumb could actually write anything correctly because they were all dyslexic as shit. How the is this my fault?
God damn. And it's not a one guy situation at all. Suck my dick. There was a hella guys in the chat. It was 1,000 guy situation.
As I'm speaking, dozens of lawyers on the national security team at the Department of Justice are preparing the documents for release. Let me be very clear. We need a full release. Anyone who tampers with these documents or conceals documents or engages in excessive redaction will be prosecuted because of obstruction of justice. We will prosecute individuals regardless of whether they're the Attorney General or a career or political appointee. We need full transparency and justice for the survivors. Tomorrow, finally, rich and powerful men who raped underage girls or who covered up for this abuse will be held accountable.
Nope. That's not, that's what we thought could potentially happen, but seemingly no. But in this situation, it's like, even if you literally have like congresspersons,
Clinton
it's on CNN
ties
now.
With Epstein before his arrest. On
Even if you have congresspersons pushing,
it's
like it's the DOJ that's hiding it.
Now,
so the DOJ is going to sue itself. I don't know.
Of as we are going through
it's
these
a real.
files,
We are asking the investigators to investigate themselves and find wrongdoing moment.
Making in the coming hours, we are of course going to be interested in anything that is new, anything that might be revelatory about high-profile names, big people in public life. Again, though, it is incredibly challenging to try to report on some of these images and documents because there is so much context that is missing. But again, here we have what appear to be never-before-seen photos of Jeffrey Epstein in both of Bill Clinton, in Jeffrey Epstein's presence and Ghislaine Maxwell's presence. Again, we don't know the context around these photos when they were even taken.
All right, MJ, thanks so much. Please flag us down when you have more. Let's bring back Julie K. Brown of the Miami Herald.
U.S. launches missiles
what's your take on these Clinton photos that have been released?
It's just hard to know. We don't know when they were taken or where they were taken, under what circumstances. But of course, the more that we see photos of him, the more questions with Epstein and in Epstein's houses or, we don't know where they are. And I think it just raises more questions about how close he was with Epstein and the fact that, at some point he had to have known what Epstein's, crimes were. I mean, he had been accused for a long time, and it was known he was accused of molesting underage girls. So I think that, these raise more questions that I think he probably will be asked about these photos.
Okay, Brown, thank you so much. We're going to sneak in a quick break. We'll be right back with more on this developing story, the Epstein.
Okay. Apparently, while we were having this conversation, or while the dumps were coming in, earlier today, U.S. forces commenced Operation Hawkeye Strike in Syria to eliminate ISIS fighters' infrastructure and weapon sites in direct response to the attack on U.S. forces that occurred on December 13th in Palmyra, Syria. As you recall, 2 U.S. troops in Syria were killed by ISIS fighters. This is not the beginning of a war. It's a declaration of vengeance. The United States of America under President Trump's leadership will never hesitate and never relent to defend our people. As we said directly following the savage attack, if you target Americans anywhere in the world, you will spend the rest of your brief, anxious life knowing the United States will haunt you, find you, and ruthlessly kill you. Today, we hunted and killed our enemies, lots of them. We will continue. Yeah, except of course, if you are an international pedophile hurting American girls alongside very famous, financial criminals and whatnot, then we won't do anything about it. Why didn't they do this when Israel killed American soldiers? I mean, I think you know why. This one looks strange. What? I don't even understand. This is doodles from Epstein? Is that what it is? Seems like a bunch of Epstein doodles. Maybe ISIS should have avoided being killed by doing pedophilia instead. I mean, they were just not doing it the right way, the Epstein way, I guess. Picture 991 box of hard drives. Yes, we saw, chatter. I saw. God damn. I saw, dude. I don't know why you want me to look at a box of hard drives. Yes, I know. He documented everything extensively. There are photos of him with floppy disks and shit too. Also, Kevin Spacey and Bill Clinton here. Oh yeah, the smiley art is also unique. Because the steeplechase face was the mascot of the historic Steeplechase Park, the first of 3 amusement parks in Coney Island, Brooklyn. This was in Jeffrey Epstein's home, okay? This was in Jeffrey Epstein's home in one of the photos. This weird face that you see every now and then. An exaggerated smile, which has 44 visible teeth. The image conveys simple fun, but it was also observed by cultural critics to have an undercurrent of Victorian-era repressed sexuality. There's a veneer of hidden sexuality. Okay. Now, the reason why this is crazy is because in 1966, real estate developer Fred Trump, Donald Trump's father, destroyed the park in an unsuccessful attempt to create condos on the site. During the demolition, Trump handed out bricks to the public, encouraging visitors to throw them at the glass steeplechase face. And I think this face might be recovered from the park. So maybe Donald Trump gave the steeplechase face to Jeffrey Epstein as a gift from the time when his dad actually demolished the park. But I don't know. Epstein threatening to burn someone's house down if they revealed the stolen photos of young girls and sold them and had other photos taken. Click alt text if you can't read. How do you click alt text on desktop? I don't know how to do that. Complainant staged that she is a professional artist and took pictures of her sisters 12 and 14 years for her own personal artwork. Epstein stole the photos and negatives and is believed to have sold the pictures to potential buyers. Epstein at one time requested Bleep to take pictures of young girls at swimming pools. Epstein is now threatening Bleep that if she tells anyone about the photos, he will burn her house down. Stated. Complainant stated, not stayed. Yeah, this is Jeffrey Epstein, character of cases, child pornography. Oh, this is how you... Okay, well, I already read it. Oh, fuck. This is from 1996, by the way. Yeah, this is from the first. This is information that was also compiled, I think, in the first investigation. And for the record, they knew all this shit, and he still got away with it. They knew all this shit, and they let him out on work release. This has never happened, okay? There's a photo of Ivanka in the Epstein files. Wait, what? Really? Careful, some files are limit CP on DOJ website. No, there is no CSAM in the files. Are you kidding me? The Department of Justice, that's fake law. I mean, that doesn't really prove anything, even if he had a photo of Ivanka regardless. But that's nothing, okay? Who gives a about what that person is posting? Lock in, okay? Listen. What I was saying is the government is not going to put child sexual abuse material or upload it because they have a process where if they identify something as child sexual abuse material, they don't even upload, they don't even scan it. They just have a slip that says CSAM image. Like, it's not even redacted. So in instances where there is CSAM in the files, and there are plenty of instances where there is child sexual abuse material in the files, they don't even scan the child sexual abuse material.
Charge, not charge, investigate, or decline to investigate Epstein or his associates. That's the exact language of this law that is required to be turned over. And really, Jake, as you know, and Julie Brown, who you just had on, knows, that's really one of the biggest questions here. Why on earth?
Someone in the chat said, what the why? What the why would the Department of Justice have a separate policy of handling child sexual abuse material? Think. Hello? Why would they digitize child sexual abuse material? Child sexual abuse material is the most illegal thing, okay? Of course they're not going to digitize it if it only exists as a hard evidence, as a piece of hard evidence.
Well, I haven't had a chance to review it other than the report I saw just a little bit before coming on that you covered. But I'm not surprised. There's going to be obviously photos released. There's going to be financial records, flights, manifest release. So we're going to obviously dig into the details here. As I've said from the very beginning, anyone who was involved in the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein.
Digitizing child sexual abuse material that was like photographed would also be illegal in and of itself. You would be procuring child sexual abuse material, which is a crime.
If there is evidence that comes out through this release of anyone, whether they be in government or entertainment or
Hassan disproves you wrong,
the
it's
financial
redacted.
World, they should be prosecuted.
So,
we
no,
will
this
see
means that
what,
they're not.
what obviously.
No, this means they're adults, chatter.
Searchable database with hundreds.
Jeffrey Epstein had adult victims and child victims. This implies that the victims photographed here are adults whose identities were protected. Okay? If it was a child in a similar situation like that, in a photo like that, it would literally just say, it would have a slip that said CSAM.
The law also said that the database had to be searchable, and the database, at least last time I checked, it was not searchable. Does it bother you that the Justice Department is not abiding by the law that President Trump signed 30 days ago?
Did they reveal the magician was? What do you mean?
Look,
Isn't
I
it
think
David Blaine?
Obviously should comply fully with the law. I think given the volume of documents, I assume they have a lot of people working on redacting where appropriate within the law and going through each of these documents to make sure that they are released appropriately. I would venture once the grand jury transcripts were court-ordered released and they have to go through that added significant volume here in terms of having to go through the documents. So, look, I think they need to obviously comply expeditiously, and I do believe that's their intent. And
good luck telling this administration they need to comply,
in full
Lawler.
Today. But given the volume, I'm not sure how realistic that really was within 30 days of the law being signed.
Your fellow New York Republican, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, just announced that not only is she bowing out of the race for governor of New York, which you were going to do
House
as
Manager's
well.
report from David Copperfield's show noting that patrons found the show sophomoric, amateurish, and the same as last year's. A woman also complained that she couldn't find her husband after Copperfield made him disappear.
Into the ring and run for governor?
Well, first, let me say Elise Stefanik has been a tremendous congresswoman. She certainly would have made a great governor. And
I don't care about Elise Stefanik. Okay, she sucks, and of course she bailed out, and she was going to lose anyway. Also, here is Adam Schiff. Part of the consequences, I think, frankly, of Chief Justice Roberts giving the president absolute immunity when it comes to his instructions of the DOJ. He can pretty much order them to do what he wants, and no, he will never be held criminally liable.
Are you at all surprised by the lack of production today?
I'm surprised by the magnitude of it. I'm not surprised that they're withholding information. Part of this is a consequence, I think, frankly, of Chief Justice Roberts giving the president absolute immunity when it comes to his instructions to the Justice Department. So he can pretty much order them to do what he wants. and knows that he will never be held at least criminally liable. So I'm not surprised that they're withholding. I am surprised at the magnitude of it.
Yeah, they are straight up in violation of the law as of like later tonight. Section 1, short title, this act may be cited as the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Remember, Donald Trump signed this. It's his own law that he signed, okay? That said that the DOJ would release all unclassified, not later than 30 days after the date of enactment of this act, the Attorney General shall, subject to subsection B, make publicly available in a searchable and downloadable format all unclassified records, documents, communications, and investigative materials in the possession of the Department of Justice, including the Federal Bureau of Investigation and United States Attorney's Office that relate to the Epstein files. Okay? So that's where we're at. Obviously we know how these things work. It's, the law is irrelevant here. Whatever Donald Trump wants to do was what's more important. Under Trump mentioned in the second and sixth line under remarks. Where is it? Oh, here it is. And then here again. Remarks, procedures, maneuvers, endorsements. I mean, this is old stuff though. I think it's the aircraft. This is an extension of the flight logs. It's nothing new as far as Donald Trump's involvement goes. I'm telling you, dude, I think that this is all, I mean, that's the flight manifest, right? So that's all stuff that was already available.
Audacity of it, the plain statement by Blanche that they're withholding hundreds of thousands of documents.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much Donald Trump would be all over these files to begin with, okay? But his behavior made it seem like he was all over this shit. And the very fact that he's not in it at all, seemingly, there is far more Bill Clinton in here than there is Donald Trump, okay? So far, from what we have seen, there is a ton more Bill Clinton in here than there is Donald Trump. That's suspicious because we know that Donald Trump was directly affiliated and directly a part of the Epstein stuff, at least leading up to the first investigation, which would absolutely be featured in the second investigation as well. So the very fact that there's nothing of Trump in here at all, nothing new, not even like old stuff that we know that's supposed to be here, is a little bit confusing and certainly invites some scrutiny as to how much they redacted Trump out of this directly. And none of Trump's orbiters really are all over this as well. Also a little suspicious, a little weird.
That might be just the tip of the iceberg. So, yes, that does surprise me. It's a kind of in your face. We will ignore the law as we choose. We will go at our own pace. Whether we provide things at all will be up to us. It's a kind of arrogance, a kind of drunkenness with power that believes you can ignore the law without any peril.
Some slip through. Yeah, I know. I saw that. Maybe Trump's DOJ missed these photos of him in a desk drawer at Epstein's townhouse. Trump with Melania and Ghislaine. Trump with what looks like 4 scantily clad ladies. Yeah, that's what's so... That's interesting too, because the only new Trump photos that we have seen were literally in Jeffrey Epstein's drawer. And it almost feels like they just forgot to redact that because it wasn't the primary focus of the photo at all. And it just kind of slipped through. Bill Clinton was just closer to Epstein than Trump from everything we know. No. I know. 100%. But Trump was pretty close too. The expectation here is that, yes, of course there is going to be a shit ton of Bill Clinton here. And what is surprising to me is that there isn't more direct evidence of people who entertain the company of sex trafficked adults and sex trafficked minors, okay, who are criminals themselves. Nothing that ties them together. back to Jeffrey Epstein. That's odd. And then also a lot less Trump all over these files than one would expect, given that he was still a close associate, especially in the first half, especially leading up to the first investigation. Remember, this is the second Jeffrey Epstein investigation, which will feature a ton of information from the first investigation that we never actually saw as well, considering that they're just like releasing the files in its entirety. So the notion that there isn't any Trump at all, or very little Trump in this tranche of data, is strange. Now, Thomas Massie might be able to speak on that, and maybe he'll say, no, Trump wasn't that involved here. It's not that big of a deal. He has so far criticized the release. The reason why I say this is because his claim was, after cooperating with the witnesses and cooperating with the victims, talking to the victims specifically, if all of the data is released from the Epstein investigation, as is supposed to be by law, there would be 20 to 25 new people that would be outed as sex criminals. 20 to 25 men that would be outed as sex criminals. So if 20 to 25 men are not outed as sex criminals in the aftermath of the release of all these files, that means that means that they redacted their names. That's what he said. Okay? Do you think Trump is an actual pedo and they're covering, or is he just a different kind of demon? I mean, it could be. There's at least like enough. Oh yeah, this is in Epstein's closet, the IDF. The Israel Defense Force sweater was in his closet. We already saw that. But there's also photos of him wearing that one. So that's not new either. Maybe because Trump is under investigation currently? What? No, dude. What? No. Trump's DOJ is not going to be the DOJ that investigates Trump, okay? What leads you to believe that they would ever investigate Donald Trump? There's tickets here. There's a passenger ticket, Delta Air. Damn, it was $50. Oh, this is for baggage check. Ghislaine called out. Larry. Redacted would like to speak to you. Page 24. Oh, for Mr. Wexner, Les Wexner, from Mr. Epstein, 2 pages, including cover. Fax sent. Result jammed. They don't have it in stock. 10 to 12 week wait. Manager will be in tomorrow. So you can call her in the morning and see if they will give us the one from the floor. 2 ottomans, 2 chairs, sofa. P.S. I gave them shipping address with your name on it. No, it's just, I mean, this is probably furniture chat. Judging by the way that these guys communicated with one another when they were actually doing pedophilia and sex trafficking, I don't suspect that this is actually code for pedophilia and sex trafficking. Because if it was, he would just straight up say it. He would just literally write, I'm sending, young girls under the age of 18 to your home. Okay? If there's one thing we found out from all of the email correspondence and also now the uncovered Jeffrey Epstein, the uncovered Jeffrey Epstein shit. Yeah, look, I have a female for him. I have 2 females for him, or I have a female for him. He does not, these guys did not try to do OPSEC at all, okay? They did not try to do OPSEC at all on this stuff. Turns out all the 4chan QAnon shit was bullshit. Who would have thought that they were not even trying to remotely cover their tracks? They were very open about the pedophilia that they were engaging in. They would just straight up say like, young girl sending your way, or even in certain instances say stuff like, this girl is not young. You lied to me. Dude, is this Trump? Is it Bill Gates? What the It's just a baby. What? Dude, what? I can't even show this. There's just a photo of a baby. Oh, a baby sitting naked in a sink. I don't know if I should show this. But they censored the baby's face, but I think the baby's face is the face of an adult. Because I can't tell, but all right, whatever. I'm going to look away from this. That looks insane. But clearly the censors didn't consider that to be CSAM or something, so they just... But they did actually censor the face. So that's strange. Okay. That's why I'm saying don't assume their CSAM policy is consistent. I suspect it is. Here's another one. It's an adult. Open off screen. No, this is not an adult. That's a baby's body sitting in the sink. You just sent it to me. I don't know why you keep saying it's an adult. Audio out of sync for anyone else? No. What the Anyway,
but also the Michael
Sky News is
Jacksons,
still
the
diving
Mick
into
Jaggers,
it.
all of these figures.
Also, before I forget, this is a good time to remind people, the Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. Your subscriptions in the form of a $6 a month subscription or a free one in the form of Twitch Prime is the only way to support the Piker Broadcasting Service. Twitch Primes are free, and you can use it here. Okay, Candace. Okay, give me a break. You can also gift subs to others if you would like. Ow. Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, for you. Thank you. There's videos in the files. You should show them. I showed one video with Pinker, Steven Pinker, but that's it. Mary Socialismus. Yeah, I saw this. Legal Heretic. Jesus Christ. Tinsid, thank you for the 10. Legal Heretic, thank you for the 25. Caked Up Bot, thank you for the 10. Thelonious Funk, thank you for the 10 gifted. Dread2 Max, thank you for the 5 gifted. Meth Surfy, thank you for the 10 gifted as well. God damn. Dread2 Max, thank you for the 5. Tinsid, thank you for the 10. I just cannot believe that the Democrats really had Bill Clinton fly out to Michigan to explain to voters why they should vote for Kamala. Yeah, while also simultaneously lecturing them about how it's actually called Judea and Samaria, for the record, which is so insane. Oh, yeah, it's Judea and Samaria, by the way. And for the record, that is part of the reason why they didn't even attack Trump on his Epstein association. They could have hit Trump on the Epstein affiliation. There was a story that came out. There was literally a story that came out from Michael Wolff, who was talking about was talking about how, like, Jeffrey Epstein was constantly chirping about how much him and Trump were still in contact with one another. And everybody kept asking, like, why are the Democrats not using this? Why are the Democrats not using this as a line of attack against Donald Trump? The Democrats are going to get pummeled if they don't actually, the Democrats are going to get pummeled if they don't actually use this as a line of attack against Donald Trump. Well, we know why. It's because they thought they would, if they thought that they, invited any sort of scrutiny around Jeffrey Epstein to the conversation, they were worried that the Trump team would just go, no, you guys, you know, you're besties with Bill Clinton. You're way more connected to Jeffrey Epstein than we are. What the fuck are you talking about? Except Bill Clinton wasn't running for office. Donald Trump was. So why the fuck did they just not drop Bill Clinton and go, yeah, you guys are both assholes? Instead, they held on to the carcass of Bill Clinton, even shipped his ass to Dearborn, even shipped his ass to Michigan to lecture the Arab voters there and the voters who care about Palestine there that it was actually Judea and Samaria. Great stuff. Well, here we have it now. Donald Trump is president, and the Epstein files are finally, being released in a redacted fashion. Pizzagate. If you replace the word hot dog with little boy and pizza party with child sex orgy, you will see the lengths these elites go to cover up their crimes. Real elite emails. Send me nude pictures of those 8th graders we abused last weekend. Post haste. I am the ambassador to Turkey. It's true. I mean, I made this joke as well yesterday. There is no hiding. If there's one thing we found out from the way that these guys communicate with one another, they're very open about their crimes. They constantly take photos of themselves doing crimes and sometimes not doing crimes. There's no instance where these guys don't, like, document themselves together because they felt as though they were untouchable. And to a certain degree, they are untouchable, especially considering the fact that we still don't know who some of these people were that were engaging in illicit acts with both minors and adults that were sex trafficked. So obviously, they are low-key kind of untouchable still to this day, to this moment, to this very moment. The very fact that this evidence has been in the hands of law enforcement for decades at this point, and they've just allowed these people to roam free and do whatever they want, potentially do more of the same style of crimes that they engaged in with Jeffrey Epstein, is evidence that they are untouchable. So the feeling wasn't crazy.
Really harming their own man. And I think that's one way.
I want to see how the Fox
strategy.
I mean,
and
this
it would
one,
be to get
I will
all
say
the chat
this much.
about
I want to see how Fox is covering this, but like,
to get the focus
this has been
on
quite the advantageous
like Bill
data
Clinton.
drop so
He's
far.
The man
So
who
I
looms
assume
largest, as far as I
Fox
can see,
News
in
will
terms
probably
of
cover this with glee.
figures. He looms large. Several.
Never mind, they're not even talking about it. They're
several
talking about
images of
Coldplay
Bill
canoodling,
Clinton,
woman from Kiss Camp scandals.
Who will
speaks
feature,
out.
I don't doubt, on the front pages tomorrow. I mean,
on the day of the Epstein file release, where Donald Trump's War Department bombed Syria with unprecedented disapproval over the economy and whatnot, in the aftermath of the Brown shooter being found dead, this is what they are choosing to cover: the canoodling, the Coldplay canoodling. That's awesome. I guess they have to do the bidding of Donald Trump, even though the tranche that was revealed is noticeably taking the attention away from Trump's potential involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. They're still not talking about it at all. Great stuff.
Probably among them who will say, well, hang on a minute. Yeah, I knew the guy, but so did everybody. Mick Jagger knew him. Diana Ross knew him. Michael Jackson knew him. You know, all these national treasures kept the company of Jeffrey Epstein. I did merely as an innocent. I can see that being the White House line come publication number 2. But right now, what we have is the story about...
They talked about it earlier. You just have to use your desktop rewind feature. No, the desktop rewind feature only works if you subscribe to the Hasanabi broadcast at twitch.tv/Hasanabi, the Piker Broadcasting Service. Unfortunately, I do not have a desktop rewind feature for Fox News on this website that restreams Fox News. Is your phone vibrating, dude? No, there's noise coming from the outside, chatters. Obviously, it's not my phone vibrating. You know, you can hear the street. It's through the noise gate because it's very loud.
James
Comer, this is what Congress overwhelmingly voted for, and I applaud the Trump administration for complying with this request and getting these documents so everyone can lay eyes on them and judge themselves on who the bad guys are. Yep.
Homer. Congressman, I understand that you have already seen much of what is being...
Yeah, bro, they're doing a victory lap. They're doing a victory lap because they're like, oh, yep, there's all this evidence that we did not want you to see for the longest time. It turns out the redacted files show that the Republicans are noticeably absent from this. Jeffrey Epstein, just a Democrat ploy.
Being released today. Is that correct? And what have you seen?
Well, we've seen a lot of documents. What I think's not been accurately understood by most Americans is the Trump Department of Justice. They have released several thousand pages of documents. Now, what they've released in the last 30 minutes is another several 100,000 pages, some of which we may have already had, but we're going through them as we speak. It'll take several days to go through all of these documents, but this is what the American people wanted. This is what Congress overwhelmingly voted for, and I applaud.
No, I don't think this was what Congress overwhelmingly voted for. Congress voted, and the American people wanted the unredacted files, all the files, not some of the files, not the files after they went through and just potentially deleted some of the criminals and Donald Trump.
The Trump administration for complying with this request and getting these documents so that everyone can lay eyes on them and judge for themselves who the bad guys are in this whole disastrous.
I don't think this is going to work. I mean, I think maybe it's good enough. I think maybe it's good enough for some of the dumbest people. Kaya, no. Place. Kaya. Place. Ow. My neck. Good girl. Sorry, she's trying to, she's like, there's a bunch of stuff over here to the left side that she's like about to boulder over. Do you think they counted Trump as a victim in the file so they can redact them? Maybe. He accidentally tasered himself. Yeah, I have the taser on my neck. Every time I say place, I actually taser myself. All right. So the Epstein files are not complete, comically redacted, not in the searchable format. The Trump-Vance administration have months to recover from the embarrassing influencer Biden photo op, and this is what they came up with. This is what they think of you. Exactly. You and Kirk for real twinning today? Yeah, we are. My Kirk is f***ed up, dude. Fox News Digital found that Trump's DOJ redacted politically exposed individuals and government officials in defiance of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. The redactions, however, were not applied to former President Bill Clinton. Epstein files explode open as DOJ details discovery of powerful figures of more than 1,200 victims. More than a dozen politically exposed people and government officials' names appear in the hundreds of thousands of Jeffrey Epstein files made public Friday, sources said. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said the DOJ discovered more than 1,200 victims and their families during the exhaustive review, explained the process behind determining which files could be released in a letter to Congress exclusively obtained by Fox News Digital. Sources told Fox News Digital that the new photos of Epstein with former President Bill Clinton are part of the release. The Justice Department redacted the names and identifiers of the victims. Fox News Digital has learned that the same redaction standards were applied to politically exposed individuals and government officials. Oh. Fox News Digital exclusively obtained a letter written by Blanche to members of the House of Representatives regarding Friday's anticipated release of the files under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. We write to notify you that today the Department of Justice is producing hundreds of thousands of pages of responsive materials in compliance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Under the leadership of President Donald J. Trump and Attorney General Pam Bondi, this unprecedented disclosure highlights our commitment to following the law, being transparent, and protecting victims, except for politically exposed people. Blanche continued, noting that the production of documents comes within 30 days required. Never in American history, blah, blah, blah. He's just glazing Trump and Pam Bondi. Okay. The law allows the DOJ to omit or redact any references to victims and files that could jeopardize pending investigations or litigation, such as the probe Bondi recently opened in New York to Epstein's ties to Democrats. Information could also be left out in the interest of national defense or foreign policy, the law says. Well, that's why you don't see a whole lot of Israel in here, huh? Meanwhile, in the letter obtained by Fox News Digital, Blanche revealed that the Justice Department, through its sprawling internal process, learned more than 1,200 victims. This resulted in 1,200 names being identified as victims or their relatives, Blanche wrote. We have redacted references to such names. In addition to redacting the names of these victims, we have also redacted and are not producing any materials that could result in their identification. Blanche explained that all unclassified records, documents, communications, and investigative materials that relate to Jeffrey Epstein, including all investigations, prosecutions, or custodial matters, are being released. Also being released are records relating to Ghislaine Maxwell, flight logs, or travel records. The DOJ is releasing any records or documents with individuals, including government officials named or referenced in connection with Epstein's criminal activities, civil statements, immunity or plea agreements, or investigatory proceedings. The documents would also reference any immunity deals, non-prosecution agreements, plea bargains, or sealed settlements involving Epstein or his associates, except no, it's not. As long as those people are connected to the administration or profiles connected to the administration or I guess people that are of national importance. Blanche said the DOJ is continuing to review additional documents and other items for potential responsiveness. Blanche pointed to a ruling in the Southern District of New York requiring additional layers of review to minimize the risk of inadvertent production of protected victim information. We anticipate this ongoing review being completed over the next several weeks. Blanche explained that prior to the passage of the new Epstein law, the DOJ conducted a thorough review, including digital searches of databases, hard drives, and network drives, as well as searches of real and personal properties. This review did not reveal credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. We investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing again. They found no evidence, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, nor did it uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. He added that judges in the Southern District of Florida and the Southern District of New York have authorized the DOJ to produce materials previously prohibited from production by protective orders and grand jury secrecy laws. Blanche explained that the review protocol instructed attorneys to redact or withhold any material that contained personally identifiable information of victims, depicted or contained child sexual abuse materials, would jeopardize an active investigation or prosecution, depicted images of death, physical abuse, or injury, and properly classified national defense or foreign policy information. Protecting victims is the highest priority for President Trump, the Attorney General, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Department of Justice, Blanche wrote. Yeah, I don't think so. As a part of the review and production, the department solicited counsel for any victims of Jeffrey Epstein and invited counsel to provide us with names of victims, whether previously identified or not. Blanche said the Justice Department's review team consists of more than 200 DOJ attorneys working to determine whether the materials were responsive under the Act. The review had multiple layers, including 187 attorneys from DOJ's National Security Division conducting a review of all items for responsiveness. Next, a quality control team of 25 attorneys conducted a second-level review. Yeah, national defense and foreign policy related people are not being identified in this and are being redacted, I guess. Bill Clinton, on the other hand, is not a part of the people. I'm dumb. What does this all mean? It's pretty obvious. Fox News Digital found that Trump's DOJ redacted politically exposed individuals and government officials in defiance of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. The redactions, however, were not applied to former President Bill Clinton. Yeah. The Justice Department redacted the names and identifiers of victims. Fox News Digital has learned that the same redaction standards were applied to politically exposed individuals and government officials. What's confusing to me is why Fox News Digital is actually releasing this information or revealing this information. Okay? But it is crazy that they're just like, oh, this is a politically exposed individual. I did suspect that this could happen. If you recall, I talked about this before where it was like, despite the mutually assured pedo destruction technique, remember when I said one of the ways in which they could reveal this stuff is just like hammer on the Bill Clinton angle or whoever Donald Trump's enemies are on the liberal side, and then basically redact everybody else that's an affiliate or a known affiliate of the administration, Trump himself, or why did you block her? That's a Fox News Digital correspondent. I think that's written extensively on me, I assume. Wait, what the? Wait, hold on. Is this one of the redacted photos of a politically exposed individual? I mean, we don't know if it's Trump or not. Hosber accounts pushing this angle. Epstein in Qatar. Yesterday, House Dems released a new batch of photos from Jeffrey Epstein's estate. In the least surprising development ever, 2 images show Qatari royal family Sheikh Jabor Al Thani alongside the villain. What's Qatar doing there? Okay. Listen, if I'm a pro-Israel account, I'm probably not talking about Jeffrey Epstein's foreign entanglements, especially in the Gulf region, you know? Kind of, you really want to do that? You really want to do that? That's what you want to do? It's kind of crazy that you're getting maybe a little too cocky here, don't you think? Dude living in a glass house. It's not even, it's a broken down glass house. It's not even like you're throwing stones. You're throwing pebbles from a house that's basically already broken down. That's crazy. Hey, guys, quick. Look at Qatar, says the guy defending Israel on the timeline on the Jeffrey Epstein story. I mean, what are we doing here? I think everyone and their mother has either a suspicion or full knowledge of the level of ties that Jeffrey Epstein had to Israel at this point. Anyway, yeah, Ro Khanna said he's going to sue. Oh, this is new, I guess? Oh, yeah, this just came out. So Ro Khanna is pissed. Let's see what he had to say.
Department's document dump this afternoon does not comply with Thomas Massie and my Epstein Transparency Act. They released one document from a New York grand jury of 119 pages, totally blacked out. This despite a federal judge ordering them to release that document. And our law requires them to explain redactions. There's not a single explanation for why that entire document was redacted. We have not seen the draft indictment that implicates other rich and powerful men.
Yes, they are lumping. No, they're not lumping blackmailed individuals into victims. They are very openly, according to the letter that Fox News Digital got from Todd Blanche, the deputy attorney general, also former Trump attorney. They're very clearly saying, no, we're not releasing profiles. We're also redacting. We're also redacting people who have close ties to the administration or nationally significant profiles in the exact same way that they redacted the names of the victims. So obviously, they 100% are chopping up all the Republicans and people who are close to Trump and financial elite perverts that are affiliates of Donald Trump. I could go so far as to assume that maybe even some people who weren't previously very close to Donald Trump making a couple phone calls to be like, Mr. Trump, I am your servant. Get me out of this. This could be a, art of the deal moment for Donald Trump even, where he could just be like, oh, yeah, well, in the past, you've talked a lot of shit. In the future, you won't be talking a lot of shit. I'll get you out of there, for example. And the sacrificial lamb in this circumstance is basically Bill Clinton. We can show you all the new, because if you think that Bill Clinton, who we knew was a Jeffrey Epstein affiliate, had all of these new photos that we had never seen before come out, but all of the other previously known Jeffrey Epstein affiliates, including Donald Trump, have no photos, there's no shot. Okay? There is 0% chance that if there are new photos that are coming out in these dumps and new mentions coming out in these dumps of Bill Clinton, but no new photos of Trump, that seems a bit suspicious.
Who were on Epstein's rape island, who either watched the abuse of young girls or participated in the abuse of young girls and the sex trafficking. The reality is Pam Bondi has obfuscated for months. She first said there were no more documents to be seen. Now she's admitting and releasing hundreds of thousands of documents, but it is an incomplete release with too many redactions. Thomas Massie and I are exploring all options. It can be the impeachment of people at justice, inherent contempt, or referring for prosecution those who are obstructing justice. We will work with the survivors to demand the full release of these files, to demand justice for the Epstein class and accountability.
Is this the guy who was just on Fox News? I don't know who this guy is. Holy f***, what did Aaron Sorkin know? Oh, yeah, Mitt Romney is woke now. Epstein Maxwell Clinton Foundation. Leaked emails from Epstein's inbox show close ties with him and Maxwell with senior Clinton Foundation officials, including buying expensive watches for foundation officials. It was later feared that Hillary's 2008 run would bring heat to the issue. Ready to the bottom. I think he wants me to get a secondhand one. Tell me what to do. More concerned about lunch. Why do you ask? If it's for you, I'll tell you. It's because he wants to buy me one. Then no one can. No. Then no can do. Any Audemars. Bought the watch for Doug for $35. Wiring the money today. Good. Make sure he gets it for Christmas. As soon as the money clears, they will let me pick it up. And I hopefully will get it in time to get it to him. What do you want the note to say? Is it also from you, from me, from us? Also spoke to Summer's office regarding charter flight to Jamaica, which is organized. What is Massie getting out of this? I mean, Massie is a big libertarian who's like anti-Israel and also pretty anti-Trump at this point. And it's the same, like, it's the Marjorie Taylor Greene angle, right? Where these guys are like very clearly saying, to the best of their ability, without ruffling too many feathers, very clearly saying like, hey, Donald Trump is pretty significantly compromised here. It's part grift, but I think, especially with Thomas Massie, this is literally this is more so a principled stance, I would say. They, of course, They, of course, redacted the politically exposed individuals and government officials except Bill Clinton. Yeah, MJ, Michael Jackson was also connected to Epstein, which is, you know, the timing. Oh my God. Coming off the heels of freshly unearthed photos with Jeffrey Epstein, CBS News and Free Press presents Does America Need God? Steve Pinker versus Ross Douthat. This is what America is looking for. The premier event. Steve Pinker safe for work. There it is. Yeah, we need when Barry Weiss said America needs more Alan Dershowitz on the airwaves and we all laughed at her, turns out she was on to something. She's like, no, America needs to see more Jeffrey Epstein affiliates. America needs more Jeffrey Epstein affiliates on television, okay? That's what it was. Why are you sending me this document that's all redacted, chatter? This one is insane, okay? There's a couple of these where it's just like the entire thing is black. And also, apparently, when they actually do this kind of redaction, like they were supposed to explain why they're redacting it. And they never did. I'm so mad. I've used Pinker and Chomsky as linguistic resources. Why they got to be pedos, man? I mean, their work in the field is irrelevant, I would say. And the reason why I say that is because, I mean, Steven Pinker was already a dipshit. They were trying to farm a reaction clip. What do you mean? Of you reacting to everything being redacted. Oh, yeah. No, I've seen that one already. It's just all black bars. Here's a Comer. I think, for the record, I think these guys are reacting a little too fast. Okay, I think James Comer coming out and doing victory laps about how, like, oh, well, as you can see here, Republicans are A-OK. They clearly had nothing to do with any of this. Move along. It seems that the Democrats are the only pedophiles here. Let's move along now. Like, that, I think, is way too fast, brother. I don't think you realize how this looks. Okay? I don't think the base is going to look at this and go, okay, we're satisfied. Bill Clinton is the only pedophile. Our president is saved. Okay? Some will be, but given the obvious redactions that took place here for, you know, administration officials and people who are close to the administration, close to Donald Trump and Donald Trump himself, kind of feels to me like you're doing a celebration and popping champagne a little too early. This is a premature celebration. Not only is this obviously illegal, even if it's directed by Donald Trump and Donald Trump is immune to prosecution, let's say, the people's reaction won't be so great. If anything, this will invite extra scrutiny. It will, in my opinion, make people more mad. They'll be even more upset about the fact that there wasn't enough information that they released. Like, what are they hiding will be the prevailing attitude, in my opinion. There will certainly be some that will be happy with the Bill Clinton stuff. They're like, yep, we knew it already. We saw more pictures. It's very obvious, right? For months, I said, one of the metas that they could do was offer a couple sacrificial pedos on the liberal side and just pull the ripcord and be like, see, we did it. Okay? I told you this months ago. Turns out that is what they ended up doing. But why would the libs take it lying down? I mean, the libs suck, but that's not my expectation. This is more so, my expectation is not from the Democrats to take action here, unite and take action against this. My expectation is more so from Ro Khanna, Thomas Massie, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and the like to actually speak out against this stuff. Why would Bill stay quiet? Because he's pretty much dead, you know? But I think that I think that this is going to be short-lived. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are upset. I mean, I'm upset, and I think that there will be more people that demand evidence. At least from what I have seen thus far, people's attitude so far has been like, we don't give a shit if they're Republican or Democrat. We just want the truth. All of these like elites are liberal, Republican, conservative, doesn't matter. They're all pedophiles. We want to know who they are, and we want to make sure that they're outed.
If we find that there's any type of effort to redact the names of victimizers, people who were involved in terrible crimes against these women, then I can tell you my committee, the Oversight Committee, will be the first to unredact and shine a light on those names, because we want people to be held accountable for what was done wrong. We also want to know why the government failed in so many years. These crimes went on for decades, through 5 different presidential administrations before Epstein was finally put in jail. So there are a lot of questions that the American people have, and we're going to do everything we can on the House Oversight Committee to get answers, and hopefully it'll be bipartisan. Hopefully the Democrats will stop playing games. They've been releasing a picture or two and redacting the faces to make it look like Trump had some liability, and
okay. Yeah, which is why we, hands off, which is why we released all of the files, except we didn't. And we openly released the files with some significant redactions that pertain to politically involved and politically exposed individuals. And our big, beautiful president, Donald Trump, is, of course, the most politically exposed individual out there.